This man, Colin Cowherd, hates Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers more than Skip Bayless hates LeBron. Colin cannot stop being wrong about A-Rod and the Steelers. He's been wrong about this franchise for the past 5 years and counting. Just because Aaron Rodgers is 41 years old and he's teaming up with a defensive-minded coach doesn't mean that they're going to be unable to have success. Mike Tomlin has won with quarterbacks these past 2 seasons that would have gotten a lot of head coaches fired if they had to start them. He went to the playoffs in 2023 with Kenny Pickett, Mason Rudolph, and Mitchell Trubisky. Last season, he made it to the playoffs again with Justin Fields, who still is living on potential, off half a decade in the league, and a washed Russell Wilson. The floor with Mike Tomlin is 9 wins. So imagine if you get Aaron Rodgers, who can be better than what Mike Tomlin has had at quarterback since Big Ben retired. All the Steelers need for Aaron Rodgers to be is a top 15 quarterback, and that'll be good enough for this team to win at least 10 or 11 games. Now, if Aaron Rodgers shakes back into the form that we saw before he joined the Jets, and he can pull off a Brett Favre arc, then possibly the Steelers can win more than just a playoff game or 2. That's what the ceiling is with Aaron Rodgers. 13 wins with the possibility of maybe making it to the AFC Championship game. We know that the Steelers know defense. The defense is always going to be good. But the reason why the highest paid defense in the National Football League has come up short during the second half of the season isn't because of Mike Tomlin being inept to put an elite defense on the field come playoff time, but due to this defense being worn out because the offense has been so inefficient due to below average quarterback play. Mike Tomlin has continued to go into gunfights with a plastic knife at quarterback. When you're in the AFC, a conference that's home to aliens like Josh Allen, Lamar, you're not going to win with a Wash Russ and Mason Rudolph at quarterback. You need some competent quarterback play, which is what Aaron Rodgers is still good enough to give the Steelers. And what's funny is that Colin Cowherd was ranking all of the quarterbacks in the AFC that he would take over Aaron Rodgers. Geno Smith, CJ Stroud, Bo Nix, and I would take Bo Nix over Aaron Rodgers at this point in his career with how good he looked in his rookie campaign. But Geno Smith and CJ Stroud were not better than Aaron Rodgers last year, at least according to the stats, when Aaron Rodgers threw more touchdowns and had a better touchdown INT ratio than what both Stroud and Geno Smith had. And CJ Stroud, you can say that he regressed last season. He fell victim to the sophomore slump during the regular season. Geno Smith was a turnover machine. There is a reason why the Seahawks were willing to trade him away to the Raiders and replace him with Sam Darnold. And I would even say that Geno Smith is a winning quarterback when Aaron Rodgers was on an organization that has consistently struggled to win over the last decade. The last time the Jets had a winning season, Todd Bowles was the head coach. That was nearly a decade and some change ago. Aaron Rodgers, as good as a quarterback as what he has been throughout his career, he can't overcome a dysfunctional franchise. It takes more than just having good quarterback play to win on a team like the Jets. You need good coaching, which Aaron Rodgers didn't have. There were several games last season that the Jets lost due to coaching. When you consistently have special teams mishaps, untimely penalties, it's a sign that you're a poorly coached team. With Aaron Rodgers coming to the Steelers, playing for Mike Tomlin, where the floor is incredibly high at 9 wins, if he can just be decent the Steelers not only can win the AFC North, but they can finally end their near decade-long drought without a playoff win. And then what's even more head-scratching is that Colin Cowherd ranked his top quarterback and head coach combos, and he has Jim Harbaugh and Justin Herbert, when Jim Harbaugh hasn't won a playoff game in over a decade. Justin Herbert has no playoff wins. Justin Herbert plays his best football in the regular season and saves his worst ball for January. So how is Herbert and Harbaugh on this list over Mike Tomlin and Aaron Rodgers, where you have a quarterback that has won in the playoffs within the last 5 years, and you also have a head coach that has done more with less? Drake May and Mike Vrabel, what has Drake May proven? Yeah, he showed a lot of promise in his rookie season, but you're putting him over Aaron Rodgers, a guy who is a 4-time MVP, a 4-time All-Pro, and last year in the games that I watched, Aaron Rodgers was better than Drake May, and you don't even have Drake May ranked above Aaron Rodgers on your AFC quarterback rankings. And are you telling me that Mike Vrabel is a better head coach than Mike Tomlin? If anything, he's Mike Tomlin 2.0. What has Mike Vrabel won as of late? He had that one Cinderella run when the Titans made it to the AFC Championship with A.J. Brown and the tank that is Derrick Henry. And after that, they slowly regressed the few seasons after. And he doesn't really know offense all that much. That's why he got fired by the Titans, because he was inept at getting that side of the ball right when he lost Arthur Smith to the Atlanta Falcons. And then you have Zach Taylor and Joe Burrow on this list above Aaron Rodgers and Mike Tomlin, when Mike Tomlin, the past 2 seasons, has been playing meaningful football in January. Meanwhile, Zach Taylor has been at home. And you can say that Joe Burrow got injured in 2023 and he had to win games with Jake Browning. Understandable. But Mike Tomlin has been winning with quarterbacks on the same level as what a Jake Browning is. He was making it with Kenny Pickett, Mason Rudolph, and Mitchell Trubisky, who are not too far off from Jake Browning. If you give Mike Tomlin Jake Browning, the Steelers still can win 9 games, but Zach Taylor couldn't even make it to the playoffs with that. He couldn't even sustain a above 500 record without his star quarterback. And even last season, they had a worse record than the Steelers, the same team that you believe is going to finish below Cincinnati, who got worse on defense. They don't want to pay their best player on that side of the football. They don't want to pay the guy who they drafted to replace him. And they also lose Sam Hubbard to retirement, and they cut Jermaine Pratt, who led that team in tackles last season. Colin Cowherd's hate for Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers is blatantly obvious. He can deny it all he wants, but as the old saying goes, what's in the dark always comes in the light. And by every segment, Colin Cowherd continues to put out slandering Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers. He continues to show his hatred for Aaron Rodgers in Pittsburgh. This is a team that has won a bare minimum 9 games with some of the worst quarterback play in the league. Mike Tomlin has the best record out of active head coaches right now with backup quarterbacks. So imagine if he can just, for once, get some top 15 level quarterback play. That's all the Steelers need. And if they can get that, which they will, Colin will once again be wrong. He's been predicting the Steelers' downfall wrongly for over half a decade. 2020 was supposed to be Mike Tomlin's first losing season. The Steelers still made the playoffs. Same thing for 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Colin still hasn't learned that. At this point, he's just throwing darts at the wall and hoping that he can eventually strike a bullseye, which I doubt that would be the case this year. And he'll once again next year be right back at it. I promise you. picking the Steelers to miss the playoffs again, and Mike Tomlin once again having his first losing season. The Steelers haven't had a losing record in over 22 years. That's one of the longest streaks, and not just the NFL, but in the entirety of sports, without a losing season. The Steelers culture, although it may be outdated, it still wins a lot of games, and it has more success than the majority of operations that we see being ran right now in the National Football League.